Formative 7 Effects of Climate Change is due on Wednesday, April 22nd. We're grading you using the same rubric we've been using, based on how well you organize your ideas and connect them in terms of your logical scientific reasoning, expressing your ideas through your level of detail and vocabulary, and your writing conventions. So for this assignment, you're going to use the following websites to look at the data, models, and visuals on how climate change is affecting different parts of the world in each of these 3 links. We'll bring you to a website that, if you already watched the PowerPoint and the video that Ms. Tran made, she showed you how to navigate them. So in your notes, you're going to compare different regions that are given to you in these black titles, and you're going to summarize the negative effects by region in these tables. You also want to make sure that you include information from the article that you already read on page 4 to 5 in your LT16 packet, which is this article. Okay, so it should already populate your responses in blue, but if it's not already, make sure that you just write your responses in blue. So first, you're going to describe negative effects in rural areas. That means countryside, outside of cities, right? Less densely populated, and compare it to urban areas like New York City, right? More densely populated cities. Polar regions means close to the North or South Pole, versus tropical or equatorial regions, meaning places closer to the equator. You're also going to list and compare how developed countries are affected as compared to developing countries, and as well as coastal regions, meaning near water or on the coasts, right, like by beaches, wherever land meets water. And inland regions, it's like literally places located in countries' interiors, away from coasts and borders, as well as islands. So make sure that you click on each link. So I'll show you again. When you click on the first link, you should be taken to this page, and they give you a whole list of different locations that you can look at information on. So I'm going to do Tampa because I'm from Florida. So it tells me that Tampa is 12 degrees hotter in the city than it is in nearby rural areas. And on average, it's 1.4 degrees hotter than it is during the summer than it is in rural areas. And it has 11 fewer days above 90 degrees each year than rural areas. Let's scroll. Hotter temperatures mean more air pollution. So it's showing me the maximum daily temperature, and it's showing me, ozone concentration. So it says hot summer city temperatures have serious health impacts, including heat stress during heat waves, dangerous ground level ozone levels on the hottest days of the year. Higher summer temperatures also stress electricity grid as air conditioner use source. Cities are hotter. Urban heat island. The roads, buildings, and infrastructure in urban areas make cities much hotter than rural areas, which often have more plants and trees. Okay, so I'm going to also just jot that down. Whoops. I'm going to put my source down. The urban temperature says that. Rural areas, let's see what it said again. Have more plants and trees. Than urban areas do. So if I know that cities are much hotter because they have less trees, or urban areas or rural areas are probably cooler. So they are generally slightly cooler than urban areas are, and hotter because they're hotter than rural areas because cities and densely populated towns have less trees than rural areas do. All right, let's keep reading. Temperatures can be as much as 15 to 27 degrees hotter in cities. All right, I'm going to put that too. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Put a bullet point and then put it in quotes because I copied and pasted it, which is okay. I just want to make sure that I indicate that this is a quote from that website. Put it back in Arial. There we go. Let's see what else it says. Okay, and we can see the temperatures in rural areas way down here versus downtown, most urban area, where it's like 10 degrees hotter. And it goes back down with rural farmland. Climate change is making urban heat islands worse. Summers in the city have been getting hotter faster than rural areas since 1970, as exemplified 45 out of the 60 cities we analyzed. Hotter temperatures and urbanization increase risks for the 80% of Americans living in cities. So I'm going to put, again, I'm going to cite my source. 80% of Americans live in cities. They will experience hotter temperatures than people living in urban areas. All right, so let's see how we can take notes with the other sources. Okay, you need to click on this. Climate Time Machine. The series of visualizations shows how some of Earth's key climate indicators are changing over time. Let's see. Sea level. All right, so New Orleans coastal, Miami coastal. Play. Recent satellite observations have detected thinning parts of Greenland ice sheet at lower elevations. A partial melting of this ice sheet would cause a 3-foot rise. If melted completely, the Greenland ice sheet contains enough water to raise sea level by 5 to 7 meters, which is up to 23 feet. This visualization shows the effect on coastal regions for each meter of sea level rise. Land that will be covered in water shaded red. Oh, wow. Okay, so you see that coastal areas are more at risk to being flooded and eventually underwater due to sea level rising. So let's add that. Oh, we're gonna have to make sure we go to coastal areas. What is this one called? Climate Time Machine. Climate Time Machine. Coastal areas like New Orleans and Miami are at a high risk of being affected by sea levels rising due to melting ice sheets. They can potentially flood and be completely underwater. All right, so let's see how we can use this last interactive with Global Ice Viewer. Global Ice Viewer, ice, which covers 10% of Earth's surface, is disappearing rapidly. Select a topic below to see how climate change has affected glaciers, sea ice, and continental ice sheets worldwide. So Antarctica is an example of a polar region. So let's see. It's down. Oh wow. So polar regions like Antarctica are losing 127 metric tons of ice per year. Let's jot that down. What is this one called again? Global Ice Viewer. Polar regions like Antarctica are rapidly losing ice mass due to glacier melting. Let's see. Antarctica lost 127 metric tons. Oh, billion metric tons of ice per year. Okay, so now that you have these examples from all three websites, you need to continue to compare information about how each of these regions is suffering from climate change. So just like I did, make sure that you're citing your source in these parentheses. And if you're quoting, that's okay. Just make sure, don't rely completely on direct quotes. Right? You still want to be paraphrasing just like we did together here. But if you find like really surprising statistics that you think are important, like this one that I've highlighted, just make sure that you put it in direct quotes and cite your source. All right, good luck.